Hey everyone, Triplemangothreat here. Last video, Edgar Markov was requested, so I decided to make a budget upgrades to the deck instead of making a budget deck. So for starting off, with what creatures to add, for 1 black we have Indulgent Aristocrat, and he says, lifelink, pay 2, sacrifice a creature, put a 1/1 counter on each vampire you control. This is a great card to go wide, which means to attack with multiple creatures. For 1 white and 1 black, there is Legion Lieutenant, and he says, other vampires you control get +1/+1. The +1/+1 is different from counters, so whenever Legion Lieutenant is removed, for example, your vampires will lose that +1/+1. For 2 colorless and 2 black, we have Sanctum Seeker, and he says, whenever a vampire you control attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Now this card can be crazy because, for example, you attack with 10 1/1s, your opponents automatically lose 10 life before they even deal combat damage. For 2 colorless and 1 white, there is Forerunner of the Legion, and he says, when Forerunner of the Legion enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a vampire card, reveal it, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. Whenever another vampire enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Now this is a great card, because with Edgar as your commander, you have 2 vampires entering when you cast 1, so you're at least going to get +2/+2 for a target creature. For 3 colorless and 2 black, we have Champion of Dusk, and he says, when Champion of Dusk enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of vampires you control. This is a great guy for the lack of card draw in the deck, and you'll get 2 vamps out of it. I had to read this card 3 times, but for 3 colorless and 3 black, Necropolis Regent. Flying. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put that many 1/1 counters on it. This card is amazing. You have a 5/5, and for some reason they have no creatures. You attack, you have 5 counters on your creature, and he's now a 10/10. For 2 colorless and 1 white, Mere Entity says, Changeling. This card is every creature type. Pay X. Until end of turn, creatures you control have base power and toughness XX, and gain all creature types. If you want to end the game, this is the card to do it. Now, moving on to artifacts. For 5 colorless, we have Vanquishers Banner. It reads, as Vanquishers Banner enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. Whenever you cast a creature of the chosen type, draw a card. Most importantly, you can play a vampire and draw into needed things such as lands or more vampires. Now to enchantments. The best card in my opinion for this deck, if you do not pick up any other card I recommend, is for 3 colorless and 2 white, and that is Cathar's Crusade. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Be sure to pick this one up. For 2 colorless and 1 red, Stensia Masquerade. Attacking creatures you control have first strike. Whenever a vampire you control deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on it. Madness. For 2 colorless and 1 red, if you discard this card, discard into exile. When you do, cast it for its madness cost or put it into your graveyard. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found some cool cards to upgrade your Edgar Markov decks. Please comment who to upgrade or make a budget deck of next. This has been Triplemangothreat. A peace.